I have always loved the idea of having a downhill bike, and I've always admired downhill riders like Steve Peat and Rob Warner back in the day, right up to some of the modern day riders like Finn Isles and Loic Bruni. But can you really go and buy a decent downhill bike for $1,000? Welcome to today's episode of Fixie McFixface. Okay, so here we are. We're in North Vancouver at a well-known sanctioned trail location for the first ride on the $1,000 downhill bike. Also, I've only ever ridden rental downhill bikes before, so this is kind of my first time riding a hopefully good downhill bike. So will my $1,000 downhill bike, will it be any good, or does it belong in the pit toilet? What's our trail choice for today? It's a trail called Ned's Atomic Dustbin. It did recently have a bit of a makeover, so it's a little bit easier than it used to be, but it still rides a little bit like a riverbed. So we thought this would be a good place to try out this bike. So from that first ride, you can probably tell I'm pretty pleased with myself. To me, the Norco Aurum is like the unobtainium of downhill bikes. It's one of those really cool bikes, super trendy, that I am never going to own. Back in 2016, carbon Norco Aurum cost about $8,000. I picked this one up with a bit of wear from a guy in a parking lot in Whistler for $1,000 the other week. And what I wanted to do was see if this bike could be good enough to see me through next season. So I'm going to do a few things over the winter, maybe put a few videos up about it. That fork actually works okay, but I can see it's got quite a lot of wear. I really want to give that fork a good service. I want to get really deep into it. I don't just want to service the lowers. I want to get in and see if I can service the damper, service the air spring. It's an air spring rather than a coil in these forks as well. The rear shock I'm going to get done. I've had a quick look around. That Cane Creek coil shock needs a couple of special tools to service it properly, so I'm going to get that done by a friend who's super good at these sorts of things. I'm going to true up that rear wheel, maybe a couple of other little jobs, check everything over, but it doesn't need a lot of work. So why did I choose a Norco Aurum? Specifically, why did I choose a 2016 Norco Aurum? So around this time, downhill bikes were changing quite a lot. And so 2015, 2016, you're starting to see bikes at 27.5-inch wheels rather than 26-inch wheels, starting to see some really good geometry, and suspension was really good by this point as well. This Norco Aurum came with a really good fork, so a RockShox Boxer World Cup, which had the Charger damper by then, so pretty good fork. Also came with a Cane Creek coil rear shock, so really complicated rear shock. If you get it set up, can be fantastic. If you don't get it set up right, it's going to be terrible. Head angle, reach, all pretty modern. I knew this bike had a really good spec, but the bike that we bought has had quite a lot of changes. So where it would have originally had SRAM EXO gears, the rear derailleur has been replaced with a GX. I'm going to guess that the original got smashed off at some point. This particular bike came with different wheels to the original wheels. It's got DT350 hubs and Spank rims, which I'm super pleased about. And another thing, that upgrade that I really like, is this bike originally would have had SRAM brakes. It's now got Shimano brakes with Z levers and Saint 4-pot calipers. Really, really good combination. It's got a couple of other little cool things that have been done to it over the years. So it has Saint cranks on it, which I'm pretty pleased about. And then it also has Chromag stem as well. So I'm really keen to try downhill for next season for a couple of reasons. One, really good chance to enjoy some time with my kids before they get too old and before they leave home. And also a good chance to really enjoy downhill before I feel too old. I don't want to go hurting myself and injuring myself in my 50s or my 60s or something like that. I'd rather try it while I'm a little bit younger. I'm pretty pleased. $1,000. I think I'm going to be able to use that to have a great time next summer and look forward to updating you all. So if you'd like to see more of this content, please like, subscribe, put some in the comments what you think about this bike and maybe some of the other videos you might like to see. Thank you.